Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brian here from Full by Athletics. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying this beautiful day. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the beautiful sunshine here in Montreal. It's about 3 to 4 degrees, so it's starting to get cold, right? Last week was a beautiful, beautiful week. So, anywho, sorry for that little message that you guys got right there. So, today's podcast is a very interesting podcast. It's a subject that's taboo for men, but not taboo for women. It's about the menstrual cycle, okay? So this month's article was the menstrual cycle, what to know and not to know, and how it can benefit your fitness. So as you've noticed, fitness for women has become more and more popular. So at gyms, we're traditionally used to seeing more men training, but now, and especially in the last decade or so, there's been a submergent, I don't know if it's a word, but there's been a explosion of fitness towards women. You can see all kinds of fitness influencers on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. You have fitness women groups. You have athletes, coaches, women's sports is on the rise. All these different things can clearly demonstrate that women nowadays are training more and more. They're not confined to their homes anymore or to their job. They're taking care of their fitness, and they should. Why? Because you guys are the most important element of the future. Because without you, we cannot have children. We cannot bear children. Men cannot bear children. So therefore, knowing about one's menstrual cycle, what to do and not to do, can really benefit your health and longevity. Okay, so in today's podcast, okay, we're gonna talk about obviously the menstrual cycle, but more specifically the different phases. So there are 4 different phases of the menstrual cycle that we're gonna talk about today. What are those four phases? How they affect you? How many days they last? All these things. Second, when is the appropriate time according to the phases to train? So a lot of women think that they should go hard for the whole month, right? Or during the whole process of their menstrual cycle. When in fact, it's not true. There are moments in your menstrual cycle where you as an athlete or as a coach should push your athletes or yourself a lot harder, okay? But you gotta know, when are you in your menstrual cycle? And finally, we're gonna finish it off with how to alleviate symptoms, okay? Because I know certain women can be highly affected by different symptoms, okay? According to their where they are in the menstrual cycle, okay? They can have cramps, they can have menstrual cramps, they can have headaches, they can have lower energy, and so forth. The reason why this subject interests me so much is, one, because I have a girlfriend. No, I'm kidding. One is because in my gym, I have loads of women. So in my gym, Full Body Athletics, located in Laval, Canada, 80 to 90% of all my clientele are women. Okay, so there's a big number of women. And my goal as a trainer, as a coach, is to bring out the best in my female athletes. So to know where they are in the menstrual cycle is really important for me to be able to push them without killing them. Also, another reason why for me this subject is so important is because I am also a trained naturopath. Okay, so for all of you listening to this podcast from abroad and not knowing what a naturopath is, so a naturopath is one that deals with symptoms of illness of clients, but tries to find pathways and guidelines and vitamins and minerals that can alleviate your symptoms or your sickness. We cannot prescribe, we can suggest, okay? Because most things, okay, like most inflammation, like symptoms or issues, can be alleviated by proper nutrition, proper sleep, and proper vitamin and mineral balance. All right, so let's get to it. What are the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle? Well, the first phase is the follicular phase. So in this phase, it runs from the first day of the cycle until ovulation. So it's about 1 to 14, 15 days, depending on the women. Follicle stimulation hormone, FST, is released in the body, and estrogen levels begin to rise. This rise in estrogen typically causes a rise in energy level. Very interesting, okay? Many experts suggest capitalizing on higher energy levels and pushing workouts in this phase, okay? We'll get back to it, all right? Some women may find themselves to be way more comfortable performing higher loads and intensities during this specific phase, okay? So the follicular phase is the first phase of the menstrual cycle. Second, the ovulatory phase, okay? Sorry for my accent. Ovulatory phase. So this phase begins after the follicular phase and lasts 3 to 5 days. Estrogen levels are still high and FST and luteinizing hormone LH are increasing. LH, okay, luteinizing hormone triggers the body to begin ovulation, okay? So in this period that lasts 3 to 5 days, this is when you begin ovulation, okay? Still, many women feel they can continue pushing workouts and work at higher intensities during this phase, okay? A little side note here. In 2013, a study found that female skiers are at a higher risk of tearing ACLs during their pre-ovulatory phase than the post-ovulatory phase. A 4-year study of 113 footballers also found a clear correlation, possibly due to higher estrogens causing ligament laxity. So laxity means stretchiness, okay, or flexibility, or more of a myofascial kind of laxity, okay? So your muscles become less tense, okay? A 2005 study also found that knee laxity increased in direct relation to elevations in plasma estradiol levels. So really interesting, guys. In this ovulatory phase, your estrogen levels get so high, and what happens in this phase is that your joints start become super laxate, okay? And this causes inflammation, and we know inflammation in joints could be horrible. That's where, tears happen, scars happen, injuries happen, okay? So really interesting to note, in this phase, the phase that lasts right after the follicular phase, so the ovulatory phase that lasts between 3 and 5 days, this is the phase where most athletes get injured. So be careful of pushing your loads too high during this phase. Next phase is the luteal phase. So this phase, okay, lasts typically 14 days, about 2 weeks after the ovulatory phase, and is characterized by an increase in progesterone levels. Energy levels may still be high in the first week of the luteal phase, but may drop in the second week as progesterone climbs, okay? So we can see different hormones at play here, right? Estrogen, progesterone, okay? What happens during this phase is that your energy levels start going down, and probably this is the phase where most women start having cramps also. Elevated progesterone levels cause drowsiness and fatigue, okay? In addition to increases in core body temperature. So you may find yourself to be hotter, not hotter like, you look better, but hotter in the sense that your body temperature starts to rise, okay? You may find yourself also to be a bit more drowsy, a bit more tired in this phase, which is completely normal, okay? Some studies have shown that women may fatigue quicker when performing endurance exercises in hot and humid conditions under this phase. Rate of perceived exertion, RPE, may also be high in the later stages of the luteal phase. Some women may find working at more moderate loads during this phase may be more beneficial. So, as we saw before, in the first phase, follicular, on the second phase, ovulatory, this is the phases where you should push the hardest, okay? What we see here is on the third phase, luteal, this is when the menstrual phase comes close, and this is where you should start taking it a slight easy. It's important, guys, to remember also in this phase to talk with your personal trainer, talk with your physician, and ask them, can we go easier, okay? Can we decrease the loads? Because I'm not feeling good, I'm feeling drowsy, I'm feeling tired, okay? Don't try to push hard throughout the whole month. And last but not least, the menstrual phase. So this phase lasts 3 to 7 days, but varies from woman to woman, like I mentioned before. The uterus sheds its lining and is built up during the month. At the beginning of this phase, estrogen and progesterone are at their lowest levels. They gradually increase in the later stage of the menstrual phase, but some women may experience low energy at the beginning of their cycle. All right. So really interesting. Okay. Exercising during this menstruation can be very beneficial and is often encouraged. Studies have shown that moderate intensity exercise is effective at reducing premenstrual symptoms. Okay, we're gonna get back to it. Okay, some may find it difficult to exercise intensely during this phase, which is completely normal. Here's when we can step in to encourage our clients to reduce exercise intensity if needed. So, all my coaches, okay, if you're listening to this podcast, make sure during this phase, okay, of the menstrual phase, that you take it easy on your clients, because it's this phase that they can be extra tired. It can be also a great opportunity just to work on mobility, stability, or other areas of fitness, right? Fitness is very, very big, right? We always think that fitness is just lifting up heavy weights or exercising. Fitness could be also about stretching, it could be about mobility, stability, other factors. Giving our clients permission and options may be valued during this time. So it's in this period that, if you can give your clients suggestions to how to help with your menstrual cycle, can be really, really efficient. So, just to finish it off, some studies have shown greater fatigability in both the luteal and follicular phases. This disagreement may be due to variation-specific study measures including limb, upper versus lower, or task differences, dynamic versus isometric. Either way, communicating with your clients or communicating with your coach is key. Finding out when their energy is at its peak, asking about comfort levels, strength, power, RP, and motivation can be helpful in determining patterns, okay? So, for those of you that train, right, you can notice that motivation is not at its highest all the time. So if you're a woman and you can relate to this, it's maybe because you're in different phases of your menstrual cycle, okay? So pay attention to that. So if you feel like every third week of the month, you're like, oh my God, I don't feel good, I don't want to train anymore. It's not so much that you don't want to train anymore, just your hormones are changing, okay? The rise and the lower the levels of progesterone and estrogen may give you a bit more fatigue, depression-like symptoms, okay? So pay attention to that. All right. So with all that being said, I probably went through it, but I'm going to tell you guys once again, when is the appropriate time to train? So we've seen, right, during the 4 phases, the follicular, ovulatory, luteal, and menstrual phase, the 2 best phases where you can get intense, hard workouts is both the first and the second, which are the follicular phase and the ovulatory phase. In these 2 phases, there's a rise in estrogen. So the rise in estrogen rises your energy levels, okay? What that means is that it's in this period, okay, that you can start training intensely. That doesn't mean that you can't train intensely during all the periods, except that in these 2 moments, this is when you should push the hardest, especially in the follicular phase. Why? Because in the ovulatory phase, you run the risk of getting injured in this phase, okay? So be careful, okay? In this phase, like I told you before, women's skiers are found to be having a higher risk of tearing their ACLs, okay? So during their knee joints, okay? So be very, very careful. Follicular, ovulatory, train hardest, but ovulatory, be careful with certain joint movements, like, I don't know, heavy lunges, jump squats, heavy presses, these types of things that put a lot of stress on the joints. You may have to be careful. All right? Now, how can we alleviate certain symptoms, okay? Because I know from a lot of my female athletes, they have a really, really hard time alleviating certain symptoms like cramps, like fatigue, and other things, okay? So there are 3 things that you can do today to really help, okay, with your hormones and how you feel throughout the different phases, okay? So, without further ado, what is the first one we could do? First and foremost, exercise, okay? Like I mentioned previously, exercise can alleviate and lessen the pain of menstrual symptoms. Even when pain occurs, you should remain active by training minimum of 3 times a week, okay? So it's not time to let go completely of your workouts. It's just time to, take a less of a load, okay? So let's say you used to train 5 times a week, okay? Instead of going 5 times a week, then go 3 times a week in that specific week, okay? You're not stopping completely, okay? So you're not losing your gains. All you're doing is taking a bit of a break. All right? Second, vitamins and minerals. Research shows that certain vitamins and minerals such as essential omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and vitamin E can reduce the pains of menstrual cramps by helping with inflammation. So all these different vitamins, right, like essential omega-3s, zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and vitamin E, they're all specifically proven, okay, to reduce inflammation. So we know that menstrual cycles, especially the latter ones, okay, so luteal and menstrual, those two phases, those are the moments where you feel the weakest, okay? It's in those moments where you should maybe, increase the intake of certain vitamins and minerals, all right? Those are the moments where you should try to eat cleaner, all right? Even though your body wants to eat fatty foods, try to remain clean in that period. It's going to really help with menstrual cramps, all right? And last but not least, lowering stress and getting enough sleep. So we know that stress is the number one contributor to the intensity of menstrual cramps. Lowering stress by practicing breathing techniques like Tai Chi or meditation or yoga, or just mindfulness, appreciating what you have, okay, can help in lessening the symptoms. Because when you appreciate what you have, what happens? You tend to stop stressing out about stupid things, okay? So it's at this period that you should work on your mindfulness, all right? Also, get enough sleep. I see a lot of people, they deal with, menstrual cycles are really bad, especially the last two, and they're having massive cramps. Well, in this period, try to get more sleep, okay? So try to go to bed early, all right? So those are all the different things that you can do, okay? So exercise, vitamins and minerals, and lowering stress, okay? The reason why we did this, I did this podcast today is because understanding one's menstrual cycle can benefit most athletes, coaches, and fitness enthusiasts alike, okay? It can teach you how to push and when to take a foot off the gas when it's also needed. Hormones are part of what makes us human beings. To neglect it or not just choose to talk about it can be detrimental to our growth and progress. So yes, talking about it to women or to men in general, okay? Yes, my boys out there, all right? I know you guys think that you guys know it all and that your wife is just crazy, but maybe she's going through a rough menstrual cycle. Ask her about it, right? So if you know your wife or your girlfriend, and the first week of the month, that's when she gets her, her period, then ask her, babe, like, how you feeling? What can I do for you? Be gentle, be nice, all right? You coaches out there, you as well. I know you guys want to get results, and I know you guys want to get the best out of your athletes, but make sure you know where they are in the menstrual cycle, right? If you push them too hard and they're not, feeling well, they're not going to come back to your gym or to your facility or to work out with you, okay? Be empathetic. All right. If you guys have problems with hormones, okay, hormonal imbalances, period regulation, you name it, okay, digestive issues, energy levels are always low. I am also a naturopath. So if you guys have any questions, please do not be shy. Write to me a DM on Instagram, fullbody_athletics@gmail.com, or on my Facebook, Full Body Athletics, or by email, fullbodyathletics@gmail.com. Write to me an email. Come and see me. I am a naturopath. I deal with digestive and hormonal issues and energy-like issues. So if you're interested, if you want to book consultation with me, do not be shy. You can just send me a message and we'll book it together. On that beautiful note, guys, if you're the type of person that has no time to waste and you want to get fit quickly, Full Body Athletics is the place to be. For $149.99 plus tax, you get up to 4 workouts a week. So for 16 workouts a month in semi-private groups, 10 to 12 people, you get diet guides, you get weigh-ins and body analysis every month as if you're training personally. You get invitations to free workshops, okay, and much, much more. Don't be shy. Write to me at DM. Have yourselves a great day, guys. Be good. I will see you soon and stay strong. Ciao.
1